Production of the JR Eldridge Show is made possible with financial support from Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments. The accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PLLC. Welch Funeral Home. Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. Southern Bancorp. Southwest Sporting Goods. Taylor King and Associates. Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts. Price and Company. Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone. And Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County. This is the JR Eldridge Show with the head coach of the Arkadelphia Badgers. Joining Coach Eldridge today is your host, Caleb Byrd.
Welcome back to another week of the JR Eldridge Show. I'm your host, Caleb Byrd. We're joined as always by Coach Eldridge. And Coach, your team keeps chugging along in the playoffs. 56-20 win over Dewitt last Friday night, and now you've advanced into the state quarterfinals to play Crossett next week.
Yeah, really excited about being able to play through Thanksgiving. You know, that's such a great time of year to be able to keep playing football, and something that you know, we've been able to do several times over the past several years, and just really excited about being able to spend Thanksgiving with our football family on the practice field. On Wednesday, we'll have a Thanksgiving meal together. You know, just those things that go along with being able to play with the top 8 teams in the state are something that's really good. Something that our players, our coaches, and you know, everybody involved will be able to remember for the rest of their lives. And so we're looking forward to a great week of practice. Looking forward to getting ready for Crossett, but really proud of our football team this past week, the way they prepared for this game versus Dewitt. Felt like we were able to do some of the things that we talked about doing in practice. Our defense was really able to get pressure on the quarterback. Our defensive secondary was really able to lock on and stay in coverage. You know, and then offensively, we were able to, I think we only punted 2 times. Offensively, we were able to dominate the line of scrimmage and hit our shots, and then special teams, we you know, we were able to hit every PAT. We were 8 for 8 on PATs, and then had a couple of breakdowns on kickoff coverage, which we'll concentrate on getting corrected this week. But overall, really pleased with our football team, the way they prepared and the way they performed.
And really, it was another game where the Badgers took control early. You saw that last week, the week before against Pottsville, this week again, able to put the game away with the mercy rule early in the second half.
Yeah, it's always good when you can do that, be able to really kind of limit your snaps toward the end of the game by the clock running, keeping guys healthy, but also getting younger guys in to be able to play. You know, so those are all good things that we were able to accomplish in that game. You know, we started off with a disastrous play on our kickoff coverage, their kickoff return. We knew that the number 2 was going to be a dangerous returner. We were trying to kick it away from him. We didn't do a good job of that, but we were able to really take control after that.
All right, Coach, let's go straight to the highlights. So here's that kickoff return you were talking about. Right back to that number 2, a bit of a bouncing play and able to set a nice hole for him, and he's able to break through.
Yeah, just, you know, not only did we kick it in the wrong place, we also, we just didn't stay in our coverage lanes. We didn't stay leveraged up, so we've got to be better at that this week.
Able to stop the 2-point conversion attempt, and then able to recover. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be an onside kick or what exactly, but able to take care of that. And then the offense comes out and played really well. And the offense really played well throughout the game, especially the running game. I think you had almost 400 yards of rushing.
Yeah, we did. Really proud of our offensive line, proud of everybody who ran the ball. That's another thing that we felt like we wanted to do, is to be able to distribute the ball. Kyron got a significant amount of carries. Cannon, Buster, and Jay Sean all got to carry the ball, and then Bailey toward the end of the game was able to carry the ball. So that helps when a defensive coordinator has to prepare for all that.
Defensive line throughout the game did a really good job getting pressure on the quarterback. You saw it right there. Forced him to scramble. Not a great throw from him. That was one of your keys you mentioned last week on the show, is you wanted to contain the quarterback from getting out and running with the ball.
Yeah, I felt like our defensive line did a really good job of getting off the ball and taking away rush lanes or scramble lanes, and making the quarterback have to make quick decisions rather than scramble around and find an open receiver. So I felt like our defensive line did a really good job of that, and then our secondary, being able to stay locked on, helped a ton.
Another long rush there, that time from Kyron Harrison, and getting Arkadelphia back near scoring position. Another handoff here to Harrison. He's able to hit the hole and break a few tackles down inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I felt like we had a lot of explosive running plays that were really good for us. Those chunk plays give you a real advantage in scoring percentage. So it was huge for our offense to be able to get those chunk running plays and then be able to hit our shots when we went to our play action.
This time going for a bit shorter of a kickoff, trying not to get the ball in the hands of number 2 again. Ends up getting some decent field position, but the Badger defense, once again, they're going to play well here and keep Dewitt out of the end zone.
Yeah, we just got to do a better job of covering down. With those sky kicks, we've got to be able to get there a little bit faster. You can see the pressure again. Coach Kaiser and Coach Chandler, Coach Wilson did a great job coming up with a game plan for Dewitt and their offense, which is different from the offenses that we faced recently. Did a great job. You can see our secondary locking on to the receivers on the back end as we get pressure on the front end.
Here we see this three-headed monster formation. Once again, we saw a lot more of that in this game than we've seen in weeks past, with Thomas, Harrison, and Turner all in the backfield.
Yeah, and we added one to that. We added a formation where Jay Sean comes in the backfield as well. He's really good with the ball in his hands. Had a miscue right there offensively. We can't turn the ball over like that. We've got to be better and secure the football. We knew it was going to be wet. We got to be able to secure the football.
Here's a nice handoff to Kyron Harrison, running the ball well once again. And here's that new formation you're talking about. Jay Sean Davis taking the handoff, and he'll take this one all the way to the house.
Yeah, really good. We've been practicing this for a couple weeks now, and finally we're able to get it into the game plan. Really good start to that formation, and look forward to Jay Sean being able to run the football some more. He's really good with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, Jay Sean Davis is a player that's come on throughout the season. Started off with a bit more of a limited role, but last few weeks in this game here, he had 2 touchdowns, and so it seems like every year Arkadelphia has a new playmaker in each class, and Jay Sean's the one for the sophomore class.
Yeah, we just, we want to continue to develop, continue to get better, as we move forward, and hopefully we'll be able to do that in practice. One of our playoff mindset is to make sure that everybody's trying to perfect their craft as we move forward to make our team the best we can possibly be in the playoffs and play our best football each new week.
Here, Dewitt goes under center to more of a run-heavy formation, something like you'd see from Boxside or last week at Pottsville. Were you expecting something like that from Dewitt?
Yeah, it's been in their game plan every week. I felt like one thing that we really did well, they love to throw the football, but they like to loosen you up throwing the football to run it or vice versa. I thought our defense did an excellent job stopping the run so that they could only do one thing, and they weren't able to do that well because our defense did a great job.
There's another big hole, the power run to the left, and Kyron Harrison hits the hole well and has the speed to take it all the way.
Yeah, Kyron's just been running outstanding lately. He's been hitting his tracks and really being able to see see what's open, and great job right there on the touchdown.
And trying that onside kick once again, the little fake deep kick onside. Don't recover it this time. Did you see something on the film that made you think that would work again this week?
Well, we felt like after we went up by 14, or really we went up by 15 the previous kickoff, and then we were going to do it after we went up by 14. Then we go up by 21, I think, and we were able to do it there. We felt like by that time it would have loosened the front line up, which it did. We just didn't recover the football.
Here's Cannon Turner on the inside run. Both of those runners in the backfield, Turner and Harrison, two extremely powerful runners, and that sets up for the play action nicely. You see here Ricky Rogers with a touchdown catch.
That's a great job hitting our shots. Felt like we ran the ball so effectively. We had a couple other shots that we did miss, but one of the things that I was really pleased with is just our ability to establish the run throughout the night.
So the conditions, you can kind of tell by our camera here, the conditions were wet. The camera keeps getting a bit wet. You have to wipe it off throughout the game. And I noticed Arkadelphia did run the ball a bit more than they had in previous weeks. The passing game was a big part of the last two game plans. Were the weather conditions playing a part in that?
A little bit, but we just felt like we were so dominant in the running game that that we were going. Really, Coach Moreland did a great job calling the plays, but being able to establish the run like we did, and because it was working so well, we could pick and choose when we wanted to take our shots there.
And do you feel like the weather conditions helped you out on defense, seeing that the Witt's a pass-heavy team?
Every film that we've got, even when the game was wet with the Witt, they really didn't change their run-pass ratio, so we knew they were still going to throw it with the weather the way it was, and it didn't really affect it too much. Mainly because it was just a slight drizzle and it wasn't a heavy downpour. So it was a great punt right there by Cannon, which is what we were trying to do, get it right inside the pylon. Great job by Cannon there.
Yeah, you were able to pin DeWitt back here right before the half. Long run there, and it ends up going into halftime with the Badgers having a big lead at the half.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I felt like our that punt was key to putting them in bad field position, not giving them a short field to try to go score on. Right there, we were able to defensively really make them pay for giving up all that field position with our good punt.
Yeah, so Cannon Turner with a nice run, getting down the field. Kyron Harrison with another good run. And I'll tell you what, Harrison, throughout the season, he's really impressed, everyone around the state with how well he's able to run through contact and spin out of tackles.
Yeah, he's been extremely hard to tackle, and I think that says something about how hard he plays, how strong he is. He's leading the state in touchdowns right now, so just really proud of the way he's been playing offensively, defensively, and on special teams.
All right, and this downfield secondary coverage on the scramble plays, you saw some good coverage once again there. You mentioned that's where they've had a lot of success in the past. Was they scramble, the receivers could open, get some big plays. How did you coach that about staying on the receivers even through the scramble?
Well, one thing that we did during this week in practice is we made sure that we let the quarterback throw. So our look quarterback, we were throwing our double uppercuts by the quarterback and allowing the play to continue to develop in practice, so that our secondary guys would have to lock on. Felt like we did a great job preparing for what they were going to do.
All right, here's Buster Thomas on the run now, coming back into that, four incredible backfield player formation. Thomas was the weapon that time, able to shift his way into the end zone.
Yeah, he did a great job right there, hitting his track and then being able to make a guy miss and then accelerating into the end zone. It's one thing about Buster. Buster has great acceleration. He's able to get up to full speed quickly.
That touchdown also, I believe, put Arkadelphia into the mercy rule, so the clock's running now. Able to get these younger guys, these sophomores, some of the backup players, some more valuable playoff playing experience.
Yeah, really proud of our offensive line and the way they were able to move these guys in the run game. Really proud of our quarterback and our running back, Alex Loy and Braylon Bailey, and then great job being able to hit this play action pass on 3rd and long. Loy to Davis. It's just a great job right there.
Yeah, to speak for a minute about Alex Loy, he's a guy that doesn't really get playing time aside from this red zone or the end of the game mercy rule situations, but he's a guy that plays really well. Seems like a really intelligent player when he gets in the game.
He really is. He's a good football player. He's got a high football IQ. Does a great job in practice for us. Simulating our quarterback that week. And really he's also a great receiver. He can catch the ball really, really well. So look forward to great things from Loy in the future, but just really, really a good football player.
All right, now driving down at the end of the game, Dewitt's able to get into the end zone, so that takes the score up to, after this 2-point conversion attempt here is successful, it takes the score up to 20-56. That'll be the final score for the game. But really, all-around dominance from the Badgers right up here till the end, to the last play.
Yeah, I felt really good about the way we prepared and then the way that we played. I mean, we have, obviously, in every game, you've got things that you've got to work on. There are some of those things that stand out when you watch the film back, and then there are some of the things that you find that you have to dig a little bit deeper for. That's really what we want to do every week is find those things that we can get better on, whether they be big or small, because the little things do turn into big things. So we want to make sure that we're looking at that film and evaluating it to make sure that we're trying to play our best football each new week, and that's what we're going to focus on this week in practice.
All right, Coach, and we're going to show the score once again up on the screen. It was a big win for Arkadelphia, 56-20 over Dewitt. And then the opponents for next week, Crossett, they're in the same conference as Dewitt. They won 31-6 over Gosnell. That was predicted to be, before the game, the media predicted that to be a 4-point win for Crossett. They covered that margin and a lot more. So Crossett is the opponent this week. You're going to travel to Crossett, and they're a very good football team. They
are a very good football team. They've got a lot of speed out on the field. They play extremely hard. They run to the football on defense. On offense, they've got a good quarterback who distributes the ball. You can tell that they're a well-coached football team. They know what they're doing when they're doing it. They know when they're wrong. On the field, you can see that from their players. You can tell they practice every phase of the football game because when you watch the film, you can see that they know exactly what they're doing. So we've got to play our best football. I mean, and that's what it comes down to in the playoffs. We've got to want to be out there this week in practice. We've got to make sure that we're trying to do the little things right in practice and get prepared for a good football team. And that's one of the things that you love about playoffs is it's always a challenge. It's a challenge. There's so many factors that you can't predict, including the weather. You can't predict what the weather's going to do in the playoffs. You can't predict. There's just so many unpredictable factors that go into winning football games. So we've got to do our best to control what we can control this week in practice, and continue to put on more steam.
And Crossett's a team that, if you look at their schedule, you look at their record, could remind you a little bit of the Arkadelphia Badgers from last season. Crossett lost their first 3 games of the season, all non-conference games. They even lost to a 3A school in there. And then they come out and win all 7 of their conference games, beat some good teams, beat Warren, who's perennial powerhouse in the 4A, and are really strong, have a lot of momentum going for them right now.
Yeah, they did. They had a really good season up to this point, and they did. They beat a lot of good teams. Warren's a good football team, and so what we've got to do is really just focus on ourselves. I think focus on ourselves within the game plan for Crossett. And we're going to come up with things that we feel like we can do that would put ourselves in better situations. We're going to come up with the best game plans that we can possibly come up with, as coaches. And I've got a lot of confidence in our coaching staff. They do a great job every week. And then we've got a lot of confidence in our players. Played a lot of football over the past 3 years. And we're looking forward to another great week of practice in preparation for a good football team in Crossett.
And Coach, this team you're coming up against seems to be a very balanced team. They pass the ball well and they run the ball well. You mentioned they have a lot of team speed. How does that change your preparation, change the player's mindset going into the game? A lot of times you can focus in on the run or you can focus in on the pass because the team does one or the other well, but Crossett seems to do everything well.
Yeah, they're very balanced. They throw the ball well, they run the football well. Defensively, they run to the football. So how we're going to do it is the same way we do it every week. I mean, and really for us, when we look at an opponent, we try to make sure that we're not score comparing. We're not doing those things. We're trying to make sure that we focus on the little things that we can do that could put us in an advantageous situation so that we can win the football game. And that's going to be the focus in practice this week, trying to make sure that our players know the nuances of what Crossett does so that we can be at our best on Friday night versus them. But they are very balanced. We're going to show our football team the every look that we possibly can to get them in position to make plays offensively, defensively, and on special teams. And I think that's one of the things that we've got to do well this week as a football coaching staff is try to replicate what Crossett does. And that's really what we try to do every week. So putting guys in position where their playmakers are going to be, whether that be on offense or defense or on special teams, so that we can try to replicate what Crossett does so that we're prepared for what they're going to do.
And Coach, this is a bit of a weird week for practice. Most of the time your kids are at school all day, and then after school they have practice, but this week there's no school, so they're at home for most of the day. The preparation might change a little bit this week given that. So how's the preparation going to change for this week?
Well, out of the last, including this year, out of 9 years, we've been able to be in the quarterfinals playing through Thanksgiving 6 of those 9. So that's 2/3 of the time that I've been the head coach at Arkadelphia. We're playing through Thanksgiving. So we've kind of come up with a schedule that our players know and understand. And so hopefully, but again, every team's different, and we've got to make sure that our football team wants to be out there during Thanksgiving break because, there's a lot of other things that could be being done during Thanksgiving break if you're not practicing football in the afternoon for Monday and Tuesday, in the morning for Wednesday, in the morning on Thursday of Thanksgiving Day, and then being prepared for a road trip on Friday. We've come up with a schedule that we feel like is very conducive to our players' schedules and gives us an opportunity to try to balance spending time with our families over the break like everybody else is doing, but at the same time being able to really focus on what we need to focus on to have a great game on Friday night.
And you have a senior class that has done this twice before. They've obviously the senior class has won 2 state championship games, so they've played through Thanksgiving twice. They've won the day after Thanksgiving twice. How much are you relying on these seniors to set the tone in the locker room and around the team this week?
A ton. These seniors, I think that's part of the reason that we've had success is because of their commitment level to practicing football, their commitment level to really just leading the team and having what we think is are the keys to a great practice, which are energy, effort, and focus. They've done a great job up to this point of doing that, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again. You know, they did it last year, they did it the year before, so hopefully that will set the tone for our younger guys to be able to see them do that and to be able to really kind of latch on to that and have a great week of practice going into this Crossett game.
You mentioned on Wednesday you're going to have a team Thanksgiving meal. Thursday, most of the time, for me personally, I know I eat a lot of food on Thursday at Thanksgiving. I might not feel the best on Friday. How do you manage that with your team? Do you encourage them to, go light on the turkey and dressing on Thursday, or?
No, I encourage them to eat as much as they can. And that's one of the reasons why we have it right after practice. They just burned a lot of calories. We're out there on the field for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and we're able to really replenish them. And I'm so thankful for a great community, great group of moms, great group of dads who support and support their sons. And we're going to have more food than we can possibly eat on Wednesday after practice. So thankful for our community just pitching in. And 15 weeks is a long time. 13 weeks is a long time for football season, and so thankful that we've got people who are willing to commit their time and also commit their money and commit their services so that we can have things like we're talking about during a Thanksgiving break like this.
And then finally, this is going to be a big road trip for the Badgers. I think it's the first big road trip of the season. Most of them have been within an hour away from Arkadelphia. This is going to be the longest trip of the season. What's the preparation looking like to get on that bus and travel to Crossett?
Well, I think it's going to be the same as we normally do, other than we're going to leave a little bit earlier. We'll have our normal pregame meal. It'll be a little bit earlier. We'll have a little bit bigger of a snack for the road. Because we've eaten pregame meal a little bit earlier, again, I think our players, they know, our players hopefully know what's important about Friday. And the biggest thing that's most important about Friday is the 48 minutes that we'll be playing on that field at Crossett. And so, we're going to make sure that we have a great day of travel and make sure that we can control what we can control and do the little things right, even on our traveling. We talk all the time about making sure we show manners to the servers, making sure we tell everybody thank you. Those are little things that, in my opinion, and really in the opinion of the Arkadelphia Badger football program, make a difference. So we're going to do the same things that we normally do for this road trip. In preparation to go over there to Crossett and play a good football game.
Well, it's going to be a great game this week against Crossett. Crossett, conference champion. They've won 8 straight games. Badgers looking to put a stop to that and then continue on the path to a 3rd straight state championship. But you have to win each week. Take it 1 week at a time. And this week it's a road trip to Crossett. Kickoff there will be 7 o'clock. If you can't make it out, if you're out of town for Thanksgiving, be sure to tune in to ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com. Watch the live stream, and hopefully with another Badger win, we'll be right back here next week with another episode of the JR Eldridge Show. We'll see you next time.
Sponsors of the JR Eldridge Show include Southwest Sporting Goods, Taylor King and Associates, Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts, Price and Company, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker, Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone, Farm Bureau Insurance of Clark County, Turner and Turner, Attorneys at Law, Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, the accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler, Welch Funeral Home, Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance, and Southern Bancorp. The JR Eldridge Show is produced each week by the Rogers Department of Communication at Ouachita Baptist University.